Disruption, drama and a mega parliament meltdown. The last couple of days have witnessed a fierce centre versus opposition Sansad showdown. Today in the Rajya Sabha, the Prime Minister mocked the opposition, specifically the Congress again, declaring that the party is unable to digest its third straight loss. The Prime Minister's speech was marred by opposition sloganeering that ultimately resulted in a walkout.
Like in Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister's Rajya Sabha address had the opposition up in the arms. As India Bloc MPs stage a walkout, Prime Minister Modi hit out.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, देश देख रहा है, झूठ फैलाने वालों की सत्य सुनने की ताकत भी नहीं होती। जिनका सत्य से मुकाबला करना, इसके लिए जिनके हौसले नहीं है, वो बैठ करके इतनी चर्चा के बाद उन्होंने उठाए हुए सवालों के जवाब भी सुनने की हिम्मत नहीं है। इन्होंने ये अपर हाउस को अपमानित कर रहे हैं। इस अपर हाउस की महान परंपरा को अपमानित कर रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister taunted the opposition with मैदान छोड़कर भाग गए जाइब।
देश की जनता ने हर प्रकार से उनको इतना पराजित कर दिया है कि अब उनके पास गली मोहल्ले में चीखने के सिवाय कुछ बचा नहीं। नारेबाजी, हो हल्ला और मैदान छोड़ के भाग जाना, यही उनके नसीब में लिखा हुआ। नहीं चलेगा।
Outside the house, the opposition MPs staged a protest.
सम्मान करो, सम्मान करो, सम्मान करो।
Rajya Sabha leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge accused the Prime Minister of lying and said that he was denied the chance to intervene.
हम सबने इसलिए वॉकआउट किया कि जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर अपना राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण पर जो भाषण दे रहे थे, उन्होंने कुछ गलत बातें सदन को बताई और मेरी बात सुन रहे नहीं। मैं मिनटों से हाथ उठा रहा हूं। हमारे सभी पार्टी, इंडिया गठबंधन पार्टी पूरी उठ के डिमांड कर रही थी, मांग रही थी, हम ध्यान खींच रहे थे चेयरमैन साहब, ना हमको वो मौका नहीं मिला।
Disruption has become the big buzzword this parliament session. BJP is using these videos of Rahul Gandhi to claim that he egged on the opposition MPs to storm the well of the house and raise slogans.
माननीय सभापति की ओर से भी कड़ी निंदा की गई है और ये एक तरीके से सदन का नियम का भी अवहेलना किया गया है, संविधान का मजाक उड़ाया गया है, तो ये हम सबको अच्छा नहीं लगा।
हम विपक्ष की पार्टी है, पर हम आक्रामक रहेंगे। हमारी बातें जो हैं उसका नजरअंदाज नहीं किया जाता, नहीं किया जा सकता है। पिछले 10 साल से बुलडोजर चला, ये बुलडोजर की राजनीति नहीं चलेगी।
Will disruption and chaos become the norm in 18th Lok Sabha? Bureau Report, India Today.
Outside of these disruptions, the Prime Minister also spoke at length about the Manipur situation. Remember, the opposition was constantly egging him on in Parliament, asking for the Prime Minister to speak about Manipur. He didn't do that in the lower house, but in the upper house he did. Let me take you through what Prime Minister Modi had to say about the current situation in Manipur.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, देश देख रहा है.
Amid opposition sloganeering and walkout in Rajya Sabha, Prime Minister Modi spoke on Manipur for the first time in Parliament on Wednesday.
मणिपुर की स्थिति सामान्य करने के लिए सरकार निरंतर प्रयासरत है. 11,000 एफआईआर की गई है. 500 से ज्यादा लोग अरेस्ट हुए हैं. आदरणीय सभापति जी, इस बात को भी हमें स्वीकार करना होगा कि मणिपुर में लगातार हिंसा की घटनाएं कम होती जा रही है.
The statement made amid opposition allegations that he had turned his back to the violence-hit state.
बीते समय में पहले की सरकारों में ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. गृह मंत्री स्वयं कई दिनों तक वहां रहे हैं. गृह राज्य मंत्री हफ्तों तक वहां रहे और बार बार वहां जाकर के संबंधित लोगों को जोड़ने का प्रयास करते रहे हैं. आदरणीय सभापति जी, पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप तो है ही, लेकिन सरकार के सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारी जिसका इन काम से संबंध है, वे लगातार वहां फिजिकल जाते हैं. देश हित के विषय पर हम साथ चले.
On Tuesday, the opposition had raised Justice for Manipur slogans all through the Prime Minister's Lok Sabha address. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi had also sought answers from the Prime Minister on Manipur.
मणिपुर को आपने सिविल वॉर में डुबा दिया है. मणिपुर को आपने और आपकी योजनाओं ने, आपकी पॉलिटिक्स ने जला दिया है. हमने प्रेशर लगाया, हम गए, हमने प्रधानमंत्री से कहा एक मैसेज दे दीजिए, मणिपुर चले जाइए, जनता की वहां रक्षा कीजिए. नहीं,
हम सभी को राजनीति से ऊपर उठ करके वहां की स्थिति को सामान्य बनाने में सहयोग करना चाहिए. ये हम सबका कर्तव्य है. जो भी तत्व मणिपुर की आग में घी डालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, मैं उनसे आगाह करता हूं कि ये हरकतें बंद करें. एक समय आएगा मणिपुर ही उनको रिजेक्ट करने वाला है, ऐसे लोगों को.
While the Prime Minister slammed politics over Manipur, he also lashed out at the Congress.
मैं वहां गया, कुकीज और मीठे इससे दोनों से मिला. मणिपुर इनके लिए हिंदुस्तान का प्रदेश ही नहीं है. मणिपुर है ही नहीं. मणिपुर है ही नहीं, ना होम मिनिस्टर के लिए, ना प्रधानमंत्री के लिए, है ही नहीं, एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता.
जो लोग मणिपुर के इतिहास को जानते हैं, मणिपुर की घटनाक्रम को जानते हैं, उनको पता है कि वहां का सामाजिक संघर्ष का एक लंबा इतिहास रहा है. और कांग्रेस के लोग ये न भूले कि मणिपुर में इन्हीं कारणों से 10 बार राष्ट्रपति शासन लगाना पड़ा है. लेकिन फिर भी राजनीतिक फायदा उठाने के लिए वहां पर जिस प्रकार की हरकतें हो रही है.
It's been just over a year since ethnic strife cinched Manipur, but the fault lines run deep. What will heal Manipur? Bureau Report, India Today.
The opposition was demanding all through the Prime Minister's address yesterday that the PM speak on Manipur. He spoke at length on Manipur today, but the opposition leaders had walked out. They weren't around to listen to him speak on the issue that they'd raised. Now, how will Parliament function in such a situation? The opposition throws stones when a reply is given, they're not there. Doesn't this set a terrible precedent and totally the wrong note? The opposition wants to challenge the government, but that involves as much staying and listening to what the government has to say. That's how you have a discussion. That's how you have a debate. Joining me on this broadcast is Ningobam Bhupendra Mehtai, spokesperson of the Congress. Squaring off against him, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Abhijit Iyer Mitra joins us, political analyst. We've got Sanjay Jha with us, and we've got Rashid Kidwai. I want to go across to Mr. Mehtai first. Throughout the speech in Parliament yesterday, the opposition kept heckling the Prime Minister, saying Manipur, 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 Manipur. Today the Prime Minister spoke at length about Manipur. He presented the situation in the way that he saw it, spoke about what was wrong, spoke about what was being done. Shouldn't at the very least the opposition leaders have been around to listen to what the Prime Minister says? Is the opposition not walking away by walking out? Are they not walking away from their duty to listen as much as to speak, to raise questions, but also listen to the answers that are given to these questions, Mr. Mehtai?
Well, the opposition has not walked out from listening to the truth of the people of Manipur. Who indeed has walked away from listening to the truth of the people of Manipur for more than 14 months is none other than the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi himself. If you contrast what happened today, he hardly just spoke for 6 minutes on Manipur issue. That too, if you compare with the statement given by the Union Home Minister earlier in the debate of no confidence motion, it's almost the same. We don't want to hear from the Prime Minister saying that 11,000 FIRs are being registered. We want him to say that, look, I'm going to invite the all political parties delegation in Delhi. Or we want to listen to the Prime Minister.
No, but you can't say what you want to say. Sir, Mr. Mehta, you cannot decide what you want the PM to say. The PM will say what he wants to say. My question is, shouldn't you have been around to listen? If you just throw stones and not listen, how will India's democracy function?
Now, you see the comparison between how India's democracy functions through Rajya Sabha today, the 3rd of July 2024, and 6th of May in 2002. On 6th of May 2002, the entire Rajya Sabha passed a unanimous resolution on Gujarat. Gujarat, with a note to express a deep sense of anguish, because Gujarat was there in violence for over more than 6 weeks. But here in Manipur, it's more than 14 months. The Rajya Sabha should have gone with the unanimous resolutions on the issues which is happening here in Manipur for more than 14 months.
No, but you didn't ask for a resolution yesterday. You asked for the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur, and he spoke on Manipur. Well, you aren't answering my question. Why did the opposition then walk out? How will Parliament function if the opposition is not at hand to listen to what the government has to say?
Prime Minister spoke today. He did not even utter a word on Manipur. There was not even a mentioning of word of Manipur in the presidential address. That precisely shows the intent of the Union Government of India. We want the Prime Minister...
No, but the opposition took up the question that he wasn't speaking on Manipur, and then he spoke on... So I'm saying the Prime Minister is calibrating, listening to what the opposition is demanding and responding to that question. Shouldn't the opposition have shown the same basic courtesy? That's my question, and you aren't responding to that, Mr. Mehtai.
Well, the Prime Minister's basic courtesy towards the people of Manipur is remaining silent for more than 14 months. And today he spoke only for 5 minutes. Does that
You can't determine how long he speaks. You can ask the question that he hasn't spoken. You can't say he has spoken to 7 minutes or 8 minutes or 10 minutes.
The Prime Minister of this country cannot be made to wait for 14 months. Now we are waiting for him to come here in Manipur. We want him
this
to
is
come.
just a changing goalpost. First you said he hasn't spoken on Manipur, he's spoken on Manipur. Then you're saying he's only spoken for 5 minutes. But Sanju Verma, here's what happened. Today, before the Prime Minister spoke on Manipur, the opposition had already walked out. The opposition today was saying the LOP should have been allowed to interject. At some point in time, there were certain facts that the Prime Minister spoke that the opposition wanted to counter. So they're saying, like when Rahul Gandhi spoke in the opposition and the government treasury benchers countered him, the LOP should have been given an opportunity to make an interjection. By not allowing an interjection, you angered the opposition leaders and made them feel it was a futile process, so they walked out.
You know, Rahul, I did not interject the gentleman from the Congress. Now I need my time and I'll make some points without engaging in irrelevant rhetoric or whataboutery. First and foremost, anybody who's seen the proceedings of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in the last 48 hours, especially the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi made a lengthy speech. There were a couple of interventions. Nobody sloganeered. Nobody from the treasury benches jumped into the well of the house. Nobody constantly heckled Rahul Gandhi. Nobody tried to drown him out. Now contrast that with what happened with the Prime Minister. When the Prime Minister made that address of 2 hours, 10 minutes, all through those 2 hours, 10 minutes, the opposition brazenly tried to drown him out, did not want to listen to him. There's a difference between hooliganism and interjection. There's a difference between gundagardi and intervention. There's a difference between dissent and descending so down that you make a mockery of the very constitution that you choose to talk about 24/7 from every available rooftop. Let me tell you what Rahul Gandhi was doing, for which Om Birla, the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha by virtue of being speaker, clearly told him, जो आप कर रहे हैं वो गलत है. आप दूसरे लोगों को उकसा रहे हैं कि वेल ऑफ द हाउस में जाकर हल्ला करें, तमाशा करें. Are you telling me that Om Birla is blind, deaf? He did not see what was happening around him. He kept telling very politely, शांत हो जाइए, बैठ जाइए, एलओपी शांत हो जाइए. बट राहुल गांधी ने डिसाइड कर लिया था गुंडागर्दी, hooliganism, लौवाबाजी, यही करेंगे वो. That was vintage Rahul Gandhi. He makes allegations, my last point, but he does not have the patience to listen to an explanation. Do you remember Rahul? August 8th, 9th, 10th. What happened during those 3 days? Gaurav Gogoi, son of Tarun Gogoi, had moved the no confidence motion against the Modi government. On what grounds? On Manipur related issue. The moment Amit Shah started speaking on Manipur, क्या-क्या किया है और क्या-क्या आगे करेंगे? The entire opposition, Jairam Ramesh, Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, so on and so forth, everybody walked out. Next day when the Prime Minister was about to make his statement, he had just started. This entire bunch of Congressies, they walked out. आप में सत्य सुनने की हिम्मत नहीं है. आप हिंदुओं को गाली देते हो, and then you have the audacity to say, my speech was curtailed. My freedom of expression was thwarted.
Okay.
It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
Abhijit Iyer, we have a situation where the opposition said whatever they wanted, didn't hang around to listen to what the government had to say, and we have shifting goalposts where now Mr. Mehta is saying he needs to come to Manipur, a resolution should have been passed, he needs to meet leaders from Manipur. So it almost seems as if the opposition has decided we will go all guns blazing against this government regardless of what the government has to say. So there is no scope for discussion or dialogue. Does this in your view set a very wrong template for this entire Lok Sabha and what to expect over the next 5 years, Abhijit Iyer?
So sitting from where I am, Rahul, it just seems to me that they want halla gulla. They're not interested in any solutions. All these things that were recommended today, just 5 minutes before by a panelist, all of these points could have been raised in Parliament. Were they raised in Parliament? Nothing. They just said the Prime Minister must speak, the Prime Minister must speak. Then when he speaks, even before he speaks, they walk out. Then we hear today something very novel. The Prime Minister should say this. भाई सरकार किसका है? कांग्रेस का सरकार है या बीजेपी का सरकार है? Are they giving any solutions? Nothing. Notice there are no solutions. They want business class tickets and 5-star accommodation for the leaders they choose to bring down, so they want free junkets. Even in the middle of this crisis, they're looking for junkets and parties for all of them, all of their cronies back in Manipur. This is their attitude right now. Nobody here is looking for a solution. I'm yet to hear one member of this panel give a proper solution. What is their solution? Dialogue, more dialogue. This was the kind of business that was running in Kashmir till 2019, where all these people that were in the NAC used to get all kinds of money, public funds to go do their track 2 dialogues on Kashmir. God knows in what 5-star hotel in Geneva, Vienna, God knows where now. So ये बहुत पुराना model है. This is not going to happen right now. First, what are the facts on the ground in Manipur? Do we know that? No. I think a very reasonable question to ask is, can the Prime Minister please give us an update on Manipur? Did they ask that? No. When the Prime Minister then gives a situation update, which is what he's kind of answering the question pretty much, how do you know how a conflict is going to end, Rahul? You tell me that. You follow defense and things like that. Does anybody know how a conflict ends? Did we ever know how Kashmir would end or
and
how
we
the
have
Punjab
a
insurgency would
situation
end?
here, Rashid
They want
Kidwai.
him to be a soothsayer. They should go to an astrologer. No.
No, it's not just about what will happen in the future. They also want to dictate what his answer should be. I mean, if you want the Prime Minister to speak a certain way, then install your own Prime Minister, win an election. Is the opposition in delusion where they have changing goalposts? First they say pass a resolution, nobody spoke of this yesterday. They say that call all of us to talk about Manipur, that wasn't something which was mentioned yesterday. All that was said yesterday during the disruptions was the PM must speak on Manipur. When he spoke, the opposition wasn't even there to listen to what he had to say. And they're trying to dictate his answer in terms of how long he should speak, what he should speak. What's going on here, Rashid Kidwai?
Rahul, I really marvel the sense of innocence that Sanju Verma and my good friend Abhijit Iyer is displaying. Walkout is a very legitimate political activity. It's been done 1,000 times by the opposition when the Congress and UPA was in power. Walkout is not illegal. There is no discourtesy or any kind of.
But that's not the point we are making. No, Rashid, don't get me wrong. Obviously, at certain times, walking out in disruption is totally okay. I'm saying the opposition said speak on Manipur. The Prime Minister spoke on Manipur. They weren't around to listen to what he had to say. Then they're saying, why did he only speak for 5 minutes?
What is that? Opposition is in a position to oppose the government. I personally do not endorse it, but what I'm saying is that this is a legitimate activity inside Parliament, and the BJP has been a past master of it. Mr. Arun Jaitley in 2012, Sushma Swaraj have been on record that disruption is very much part and parcel of parliamentary.
No, but disruption can be the exception. It can't be the norm. You can pick a day, you can pick an issue when you want to disrupt. The thing seems to be that this is a strategy that we want to disrupt every single day.
Rahul, you cannot, that is what I'm saying, you cannot pick and choose. They are getting it back in the same coin. Mr. A. Raja, when he was a telecom minister, was not allowed to speak for 40 days. This is a matter of record. I'm not cooking up these things. See, the BJP has always been doing this. I can go on, narrating a lot of instances, even on the...
No, but then we won't have a functional parliament at all. The Prime Minister was asked yesterday to speak on Manipur. The opposition said, Sanjay Jha, that he's not getting the new reality. He needs to listen to what we are saying. Today he has a long statement on Manipur amongst various other issues. And when he speaks, the opposition is not there to listen to him. Is the opposition in denial about the mandate of 2024 because the government and the Prime Minister listened to what the opposition had to say? They spoke about Manipur and the opposition wasn't there to listen to what he had to say.
Rahul, good evening. Mr. Modi has to reconcile himself to the reality that India has given a fractured mandate, and he has been told, we do not trust you to form a government on your own. Your party has proved to be incompetent and hasn't delivered on his promises. Will Mr. Modi reconcile to that? Obviously not.
Now, how do you know he's not reconciled to a reduced majority?
No, Rahul, let me establish my point. It's very important. I'll tell you why. I remember during the campaign, he lampooned the opposition for saying they're a khichdi coalition. Today, Mr. Modi is running a khichdi coalition. So at core, his DNA is against this kind of politics because it denies him his dictatorial,
No, we're talking about what happened in Parliament now. My question is, who is in denial and delusion about the mandate? That's my question. Let's get to that. What happened in the campaign is in the past. We've moved on since the campaign, Sanjay Jha.
Rahul, here is the point. Mr. Modi's party, or rather the NDA alliance, has 53% of the Lok Sabha MPs. India alliance is 47%. What does Mr. Modi think? That the 47% of the opposition MPs don't represent the people of India? The India bloc represents the voice of 47% of the people who voted. Will Mr. Modi recognize that reality or not? You think Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav and the others are not responsible? We are all responsible to the voters who have entrusted trust in us. And let's take Manipur, by the way, Rahul.
No, but if you ask a question and not listen to the answer, how are you being responsible, Sanjay Jha?
Well, I'll tell you why. Mr. Modi insulted the people of Manipur, Rahul. And this cannot be denied by anybody. Can you imagine? Manipur today has a population of 4 million. Mr. Modi actually telling the people of India that it's a small state, and therefore, I do not have to go there, despite the fact that over 200 people have died and over 50,000 are homeless. And by the way, he has to also explain to the people of India why 1 year and 2 months later the problems continue. And by the way, Manipur's population is as high as a Croatia or a Georgia. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, this is a brazen neglect. This is a criminal neglect of a state which has seen a very violent ethnic conflict. It's shocking that the Prime Minister believes that if the opposition states the walkout, they're being irresponsible.
Here's the core of what the opposition is saying, Sanju Verma, that the BJP and the Prime Minister haven't come to terms with the fact that they have a reduced mandate, that they're still trying to act and appear as if nothing has changed, that 303 or 240 mein koi farak nahi hai. That's the charge. Somehow they're saying that you must accept that you don't have a full mandate and act accordingly. You are trying to make it seem as if nothing has changed, as business as usual.
Rahul, there's a famous saying, हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत क्या है, लेकिन दिल को खुश करने के लिए गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. The opposition is well aware of the fact that for the first time since 1962, for the first time in 62 years, an incumbent has come back to the Prime Minister's office for the third time in a row, and that is no mean achievement in itself. What does the mandate of 2024 say? The mandate of 2024 says the people want Narendra Modi right up there to be occupying the Prime Minister's post. Remember, in 2020, the incumbent in the United States was voted out. In the last 5 years, 4 Prime Ministers have changed in the United Kingdom. In the last 2 years, the incumbent was voted out in Indonesia, incumbent was voted out in Malaysia, incumbent was voted out in Brazil. In global history also, it is rare to see after 10 years, the incumbent and the incumbent's party being in pole position and forming the government. So first and foremost, let Sanjay Jha realize that Janta ne saaf keh diya hai, Rahul Gandhi is not fit to sit in the treasury benches. Rahul Gandhi is fit to sit in the opposition benches. He needs to reconcile to the fact that Pappu teesri baar fail ho chuka hai. Period. And on Manipur, without wasting too much time, I want you to know this, Rahul. I always come prepared with data. I culled out these numbers from the Home Ministry archives. In the last 18 months, in Manipur, civilian casualties are down 78%, casualties pertaining to armed forces down 67%, strikes down 84%, AFSPA related incidents down 63%, narco-terrorism down 89%, and illegal infiltration from Burma and Bangladesh down 91%. और जो लोग ये कहते हैं ना मोदी जी ने तो कुछ किया नहीं मणिपुर में, Congress should know. Just 3 points I will make.
Rahul.
For the first time in 2018, Sikkim got an airport. For the first time in 2019, Tripura was brought onto the broad gauge of Indian Railways. For the first time in 2016, Assam's Barak Valley got a broad gauge and Guwahati got an AIMS. Let me make my last point, Rahul. And last but not the least, do you know something, Rahul? The 2 most important infrastructure achievements of the Modi government in the last 10 years. The Bogibeel Bridge started in 2002. It was completed more than 10 years later by whom? By the Narendra Modi government. The Dhola Sadia Bridge started in 2011, completed by Modi government.
Let's just zoom out a bit. Abhijit Iyer, since you track international politics also so closely, are you seeing a greater division into 2 political spheres, those who like Modi and those who don't, where now the distrust and dislike is so acute that they don't even want to listen to what the other has to say? And that then, you know, is that in keeping with the trend, or do you think that trend is getting accentuated where one ecosystem simply has no time and patience for what the other ecosystem has to say?
So Rahul, you know, this is something we started tracking in the early 2000s. You know, in the 2000s, there was no social media, but there was the dark net. And every time we used to track Al-Qaeda or extremist communications, what it used to be was one chap, extremist, was a freak in his own village. So he'd find an online community to become part of, and they would become the self-reinforcing community, and ISIS took it to the next level. What social media does in that effect is, across the globe, this isn't just in India. You look at France, for example, there have been riots ever since Marine Le Pen won the parliamentary elections. You look at America, first when Trump won, there was that big women's rally and whatnot. They tried destroying his entire presidency with fake news, whatnot. Then when Biden wins, Trump supporters try to take over the Capitol and things like that. Social media has this very bad influence that it polarizes people into extremes. I don't think the center is left in any polity anywhere in the world today. Except maybe in one-party states, which are one-party states for a reason with heavily controlled social media. There is nothing you can do about this. You can't roll back social media. You just have to deal with this the way it is. I don't see any meeting point or middle ground anymore. This is a sort of vortex down to the bottom. This is going to get worse and worse and worse.
Sanjay Jha, your sense on this? There are two spheres at this moment. One anti-Modi sphere, one pro-Modi sphere. And the division between them, to my mind, is now becoming so acute that it's almost as if these two spheres, their leaders, their constituents, whatever comprises these two spheres, simply have no time and energy to even want to listen to each other. They're convinced they're right, they're convinced the other is wrong, and they believe the worst about each other.
No, Rahul, let me tell you, if we have to kind of address this issue with all transparency, I believe that we have seen, or rather we are witnessing, the most polarized confrontationist politics in our parliamentary history. And I believe if anybody is instrumental in creating this deep distrust and extreme cynicism that the opposition and the ruling party actually is confronting today, I think Mr. Modi personally has to take the biggest responsibility.
No, but why not some responsibility also falling on the shoulders of Rahul Gandhi? See these pictures from Parliament where he's constantly egging on his supporters. Now, he sits on a constitutional post, and he's speaking about making a new beginning. In the spirit of making a new beginning, should he not be acting more mature and not allowing for this? The Prime Minister spoke at length. You listen to what he has to say. You counter him on facts. Look at how he's egging him on, egging his supporters on.
Rahul, I'm not going to deny that the opposition has a responsibility, undoubtedly. I don't think anybody is skirting that reality. The fundamental issue, though, that cannot be denied, and I'm not resorting to the past and Arun Jaitley saying that filibustering is a political strategy for the opposition, etc., etc. But the reason why you are experiencing what I consider as a very unfortunate parliamentary gridlock is because the BJP has actually created this culture in this country of great political vindictiveness. You know, the harassment of chief ministers, you know, the arrest of opposition leaders, you know, it has created a great degree of what I call is an absence of trust. And when trust breaks down, you know that there is absolutely no communication
at all. You're again harking back to the past, Mr. Maitai. Rahul Gandhi spoke about a new beginning, that there's a new mandate, there must be a new beginning. Look at these images which have come from Parliament where he's egging on opposition MPs to go and disrupt the proceedings. Now, if this is the way in which the leader of the opposition, who sits on a constitutional post, acts, then, you know, what tone and template gets set for what will happen over the next 5 years? Then this is just an abyss. Things will keep getting worse, Mr. Mehtai.
Well,
you know, Rahul,
in the history of our country, have you ever seen any Prime Minister not visiting a state which is burning for more than a year? Be it Atal Bihari Vajpayee or Nehru or Indira Gandhi. This is the first time happening in our country that the Prime Minister deliberately chooses not to go to the burning state here in Manipur.
No, but it can't be your decision. Sir, you can raise that question. No, but Mr. Mehta, you can raise this question. You can take this question to the people. If the people vote for you, then your Prime Minister can go.
The people of Manipur have rejected BJP.
Yes, absolutely. They've rejected the BJP in Manipur. They've elected the BJP elsewhere, which is how the BJP has 240 seats and you have 99.
No, Mr. Rahul, are talking about 1/3 of the Prime Minister. This Prime Minister is 1/3 of the Prime Minister. The rest 2/3 of the Prime Minister is with the other allies.
So do you know what 1/3 means? Even as a political metaphor, it works only if all three are equal. Now, Sanjay Jha, this Ek Tihai Prime Minister is not even mathematically correct. 240 and 15 is not 1/3. I mean, that's just bad maths.
Rahul, you have Rahul, spokespersons of the Congress. Can I please rebut now?
No, 1 second. No, I'm saying even this political argument, the point is the opposition overplaying its hand by making the mandate seem something it is not? They're acting as if they are 200 and the government is 240. The fact is the Congress is still 99 and as the Prime Minister said, with the help of allies you're at 234, they're still in government. They're not letting the government act as if they're in government. They're trying to dictate how long he speaks, what he speaks, when he travels to Manipur. They're trying to dictate what the Prime Minister should do and not listen to what he has to say.
But Rahul, here is the point. If you look at the example which has created the maximum heat, and I believe very legitimately so, has been Manipur. And I'll tell you why that is critical. None of us should ignore our neighboring states, even if they are small and far away from New Delhi. Think about it. Manipur has voted out the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections.
I don't understand why the BJP is not being allowed to rebuttal.
Can I just speak for a minute, Sanju? After that, you can take over. They hyped up on double engine Sarkar. But what are the people of Manipur saying? Pay attention to that, Rahul. People of Manipur have said, we don't trust the BJP. We don't trust the central and the state government. It is a very critical message against the Prime Minister himself, who, by the way, people said, in fact, the Mizoram Chief Minister said, I don't want Mr. Modi to even campaign in my state because he's becoming a political liability. I think Mr. Modi cannot run away from
this. Okay, Sanju Verma wants to come in and respond. Sanju, the fact that in Manipur the verdict went against you, the Congress supporters using that as the basis to say that Manipur has rejected the policies of the BJP government.
Rahul, I heard Sanjay Jha. When you went to the other Congress spokesperson, you again went to Sanjay Jha. Now please don't rush me. Give me my 2 minutes, because the moment I start giving data, you have this bad habit of cutting me short. I don't want that. Otherwise, you clearly say you don't want the BJP's voice to be heard on your show. Thank you. Now, Sanjay Jha took the example of Manipur to try and say that, oh, BJP has been delegitimized in Manipur, Mizoram, blah, blah. Now, I want your audience to hear this loud and clear. Rahul Gandhi, 0 seats for the Congress in Ladakh, 0 for Congress in Jammu Kashmir in Lok Sabha 2024, 0 for Congress in Delhi, 0 in Madhya Pradesh, 0 in Daman and Diu, 0 in Dadra Nagar Haveli, 0 in Himachal Pradesh, 0 in Arunachal Pradesh, 0 in Uttarakhand, 0 in Sikkim, 0 in Mizoram, 0 in Tripura, 0 in Andhra Pradesh, 0 in Andaman and Nicobar. In 14 states and union territories, Rahul Gandhi, जिनको कांग्रेस अपना हीरो बोलती है, हमारा शेर आ गया, his scorecard is 0. In Odisha, Congress won just 1 seat in Lok Sabha 2024, it won just 1 seat in Gujarat in 2024, and it won just 1 seat from West Bengal in Lok Sabha 2024. So first and foremost, let's get this very clear. The mandate is not for Rahul Gandhi. The mandate, albeit a reduced one, is for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The second and very important point, यहाँ बैठकर जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट पर बीजेपी को भाषण देते हैं, between 1991 and 2019, for 28 long years, Manmohan Singh was a Rajya Sabha candidate from Assam. In 28 years, Manmohan Singh did not visit Assam even twice. In 28 years, the very Rahul Gandhi, जिनको आज त्रिपुरा की याद आती है, मिजोरम की याद आती है, मणिपुर की याद आती है, I want to ask Rahul Gandhi, in the last 20-25 odd years, how many times did you visit Tripura? How many times did you visit Assam? How many times did you visit Manipur? And I want your audience to know one more thing. The Assam Accord of 1985 was signed when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and Clause 6 says it was primarily to give rights to indigenous Assamese people. Rajiv Gandhi never did that. No Congress government did that. The 1986 Mizo Accord was signed again under Rajiv Gandhi's aegis to give rights to indigenous Mizos. That never happened. The 1988-89 Tripura Accord was to give rights to indigenous Tripuri people. Even that did not happen. Rajiv Gandhi and his son Rahul Gandhi have always treated the people of Northeast like untouchables and outcasts, and that is the reason. That is the reason. And one more thing, by the way, the first idea of holding elections to the Bodo Territorial Council were mooted way back when Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister in 1993. Finally, the elections to Bodo Territorial Council were held in 2021 thanks to Narendra Modi. So, यहाँ बैठकर Narendra Modi को भाषण मत दो. First aims in Guwahati came under Narendra Modi. Bogeybill Bridge was completed by Narendra Modi. Dhola Savia Bridge was completed by Narendra Modi. DSDBO Road was completed by Narendra Modi. यहाँ तक, my last point, 33% was the sanitation rate in Manipur prior to 2017. We formed a government in Manipur in 2017. And obviously, Prime Minister became Prime Minister in 2014. Today, the sanitation rate is close to 100%. Clean drinking water penetration was 12% in Manipur. Today, it is 97%. LPG connection, the concentration and penetration was 17%.
Okay.
Today, it is 98%.
Okay, so Mr. Mehtai wants to make a quick point. I'm out of time, Mr. Mehtai. Very quick final points before I wrap up.
if you are talking about a constitutional protection of the indigenous people from the northeastern states, well, you see for Assam, there are 6 different OBC communities. They are yet to be granted ST status. What is the role? What is
You did not even give toilets to the people
Prime
of
Minister
Manipur.
Modi on
Sanju,
that.
now you must listen to what he has to say.
Manmohan Singh was the Prime
Sanju,
Minister.
you've
He
spoken
gave
at
40
length. Now
minutes.
listen to what he
He
has
gave
to say.
40 minutes to the delegation of the Meitei Scheduled Tribe Demand Committee. Did ever Prime Minister Modi meet anyone, any delegation of Meitei Scheduled Tribe Demand Committee? Not even a single one. At the same time, if you see, well, in Manipur, right now, there is a scarcity of essential items. There's a flood happening almost in a month. Right now, Imphal East district is being flooded under this BJP government, under this Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP Chief Minister Mr. Biren Singh. There is a scarcity of LPG gas right now. The inflation rate is the highest here in the state, in Manipur, compared to other states in the entire country. And you are talking about LPG. You are talking about water pipeline. Well, if you come to the ground reality...
Okay, so I'm out of time. You've heard different political perspectives. As always on the news track, I don't tell you what to think. You hear different points of view and form your own opinion. But what is very clear is that a very combative template has been laid for the 18th Lok Sabha. What's happened over the past few days is likely to continue over the next several months and could be the norm for the next 5 years. That you say what you want to, not listen to what the other side has to say, and that really leads to a dysfunctional parliament. It's been headed in that direction. It could potentially be getting even worse.